Gera beats killing the music of the track down.
What's up, Cowboy Nation, Cowboy Headquarters, and America's team? And here we are, Saturday Sit Down with your guy, G, the number one Cowboy fan, Hampton. Give it up. Yeah. Happy New Year. Happy 2025. I know we missed you guys on Wednesday, on New Year's Day, our live session. I apologize, but I'm sure a lot of us were with family, as I was with family, and it was one of those things that I just wasn't able to get back in time enough to set up. One thing about me, I do not like to rush when I bring content to all our subscribers and our followers. And with that being said, I want to say thank you to all our subscribers and followers, those and all the newcomers, newcomers. We want to say thank you for being a part of the Cowboy Huddle, where we come together in the huddle and talk Cowboys talk. Now, I understand, you know how they always say, don't shoot the messenger, but I am the messenger. And we're at a point in time of our season, and we've been doing this over the last 28, 29, almost 30 years of going nonchalant. That's right, nonchalant. We've been non-productive. Some people can say that there's progress, but I beg to differ. As far as me, I am not a mediocre fan. And I've said this several times. Several times I've said this, that, if you want to be mediocre, that's fine. But I'm not here just to run the race. I'm here to win the race. All right, here I go. Throw some jabs. So again, I think I've even lost a few subscribers because I have no filter, and this has always been a channel that we are always unapologetic for what we say and what we do, because it's barbershop talk. So again, everything that I say is my opinion. I'm not saying that because what I say is the way you think, but it's just the way I think. And we should be able to agree to disagree, and it's okay. But at the end of the day, we're still Cowboy fans. So we're at the point of the season now to where it's not about hoorahing and celebrating and pumping our fists and lifting each other up. No, we're not there anymore. Now it's time to look deeper into the Cowboys. It's time to dissect. We got to stop scratching the surface, but let's dig a little deeper as much as we can, looking from the outside and to the inside. Let's see how far we can get into this and how much we can actually expose. So I did some research, guys. You know, I like to do research, and I like to, whatever I research, I want to share with you guys. And again, if any of my videos are not relevant or just was a waste of time, just put a 0 in the comments and I'll try to do better. But I try to bring you information from a fan base platform, okay, if that makes sense. So this is none of this mainstream stuff that you might hear on the news. And again, like I keep telling you, a lot of those mainstreams are watching the content creators because we're the fans. They're only reporting what's given to them. We are the fans of the Dallas Cowboys. We know a little bit more. We've been around a lot longer than they have as far as what they're reporting. So with that being said, I did some research. And if you can look at the title of this video, it's a deeper look into the Cowboys. Yeah. So, and I'm gonna get right on to it. I got 4 things that I want to share with you guys that may be our weaknesses and could be a reason for us being non-productive. So let's get right in here. So I wrote this down. I said that the Cowboys has enough talent to be Super Bowl contenders. They need to address their weaknesses. Now, we're talking about weaknesses. We're not just talking about a particular player. We talking about the organization as the Dallas Cowboys. See, I think we always want to put the finger on one individual or this person or this coach and this thing. No, we need to do this as a collective, overall collective, as an organization, and let's find out exactly what is hindering our Cowboys from being a Super Bowl contender again. So with that, I got four. Let me see. I'm gonna call bullet points. I can't say that word. Bullet points for yeah. What do you want to call it? So start with number four. And I'm not going to be here long before y'all, but I want to hear you. I want you guys to tell me what you think. But so number four is the inability to match veterans with rookies. Again, the inability to bring in free agent veterans to match with the look. I mean, let's take a look at this front line. Let's take a look at this front line. Well, we brought in several offensive linemen. And one I can state right now is Chuma Aduga. I know a lot of y'all don't know who that is. This is the guy that we brought in that we thought was going to be able to, help at the left tackle spot. And I understand he's been injured sometime, but again, Chuma Aduga has not been relevant enough to help this offense. And don't get me wrong, and I understand these are players, but Chuma Aduga just has not helped the situation. Another we can look at Andrew Booth. Andrew Booth. I mean, dude, you're a professional. And on last week, man, you got toasted for 2 touchdowns. Okay, so we're bringing veterans in that other teams don't want. We're bringing veterans that other teams that just do not want. So we bring them over here with us, and we bring them in as, what do you want to call it? To help contribute to the team play. But this is what we do. So, and not only that, but when I say inability to match veterans with rookies, but let's talk about some of these rookies that we brought in that has been irrelevant, starting with Deuce Vaughn. I don't even think Deuce Vaughn has gotten over 40 snaps. But we bring this rookie and Deuce Vaughn in for what? Now, for me, I would say he would probably be one to work. At least if Cavante Turp is going to do punt returns, let this guy do kick returns. But I understand why they couldn't do that, because they got to get 53 men dressed. Okay. And 48 and with 53. But so they just didn't have room for 2 of them. But again, this is where bad investment is shown. And that's one thing we do. We have done over the years. A lot of this things that we have done has been bad investment. So yeah, I can truly say, I'm just going to say this. I mean, I'm not saying Deuce Vaughn is a bad player, but I'm just saying it was a bad investment if you wasn't going to use him. So that was one. Jonathan Mingo is another individual that nothing towards the players, but towards the organization and the front office, giving up a draft pick for a player that's not contributing to the team. And who else did I put on here? Oh, and the number one rookie or trade we made was Trey Lance. This is what I'm talking about when we're talking about the inability to match the veterans or with rookies, or let's just say bad investments that the Cowboys organization has done. Now, these are just a few. Now, I didn't really go into the depths of how many that there are out there. But as for the organization, our draft picks have been very low as far as productive wise, contribution wise to the team. These individuals has not. I mean, the thing about it is, how can they help us? How can these individuals help us? And why did we do what we did to bring them to the organization? Okay. Let's go into number three. Number three. We're going from 4-1. My number three weakness with the Cowboys is not signing the right coach for the job. See, we know what Jerry Jones wants. Jerry Jones wants, yes, sir, guys. He wants guys that's going to listen to him. He wants guys that's going to do as he say. And this has taken place since the final era of the Jimmy Johnson uh, tenure here with the Cowboys. So if you look from the time from Jimmy Johnson, number one, we haven't brought any first round draft pick quarterbacks since Troy Aikman. And every coach that we have brought in here has been a coach that has career in the NFL. And what has that brought us? Pretty much hadn't brought us much of nothing. A lot of 8-8 records, a lot of 10-6 records, even the 12-5 records. Again, some might see that as progress or better to come. But again, I'm just not the mediocre type of fan. So again, this is what I'm saying now. So Jimmy Johnson not Jimmy Johnson. I wish we had Jimmy Johnson. But Jerry Jones want individuals that's going to do and say what he wants them to do and say. You understand? And along with Stephen Jones as well. So these guys basically won't allow coaches to be coaches. And the prime example with that is when we made Jason Garrett an offensive coordinator when we didn't have a head coach before we had a head coach. Y'all remember that? Remember when we brought Jason Garrett in as an offensive coordinator and didn't have a head coach? That was the prime example to let you know that Jerry Jones is handpicking his coaches and he's in charge of who he brings in. And that was one of the worst years. And then we turned around. Then we brought Wade Phillips in as the head coach. Remember that? And it just didn't work. Now, the one reason that didn't work because Jerry Jones picked each and every one of the coaches that he thought would fit in the system under Wade Phillips. But let me say this here. One thing about coaching, you have to allow the head coach to bring in his coaching style. Because what we saw when Wade Phillips was here, and my son was playing for Wade Phillips, but what we saw under Wade Phillips is you had a lot of different coaches with a lot of different philosophies. That's what we saw. And unless you and your coaching staff are in agreement on how the team should operate, you're going to continue to have these staggering and these non-productive season. And this is where we are right now today. You know, we have a coach in place that basically he has a great resume, but he's a yes sir person. We're talking about Mike McCarthy. He's a yes sir person. He's doing what Jerry and Steven wants him to do. This is the reason Jimmy Johnson walked away. This is the reason Bill Parcells walked away before they could even get started because they refused to have to listen to an owner tell them how to run the team. Now, let me say this also. If I'm an owner and I bring somebody to do a job, only time they're going to hear from me is if we're not being productive. Now, but if I'm the problem, the reason that they're not being productive, yeah, I need to stand out the way. I need to get out the way. So, again, this is where we are as far as our number three weakness or issues we have with the Cowboys, and that is basically not signing the right coach to coach our players. Because I'm gonna tell you right now, if you don't notice, if you're not aware, we right now are we are basically gonna be coachless after the season. Yeah. We're going to be coachless. We don't have anybody to see after our players after this Sunday's game. Not one coach. Who does that? Everybody's up for free agent as far as your coaches. You have nobody to oversee your players. You're actually got your players out there on their own after Sunday's game. So can you imagine? We understand what the players are saying. Well, yeah, but we're fighting for Mike McCarthy and we doing this year. We know we got to do for what, guys? Jerry, and Steven has set you guys up for failure. Now I was told that they just signed. Well, I didn't sign. They gave Al Harris the assistant defensive coordinator, or no, assistant head coach. And okay, great, assistant head coach until after Sunday. I mean, you didn't give him a contract. There's no contract that's saying that all you did just gave him the title. So come on, let's not get fooled because they named Al Harris the head assistant head coach. That's nothing. He's still not under contract, and they only named it. And Jerry Jones and them are playing these guys like they're Willie Fufu or somebody. That's not going to keep Al Harris to stay with the Cowboys just because you gave him a title. Come on, that's insulting. You did that because just so Al Harris would basically say, "Oh, they gave me the title assistant head coach, so no, I don't want to talk to anybody because I got to see." They're buying time with Al Harris. Al Harris, we don't want you to go, so we're gonna give you this title. Come on, man. I would be insulted. I really would be insulted. Gave me you giving me the assistant head coach a week before season is over with. Get out. I got something for that. That's what they do, man. That's what these big wigs do, though. That's exactly what they do. So with that being said, and this is another weakness. This is something that has handicapped our Cowboys, not hiring a head coach and allowing that head coach to coach his team. Now these are some issues that we have within the organization that's keeping us from being productive, from being the Super Bowl caliber team. So with the second one number 2, I have, y'all ready for this? Too much dead money. Are y'all aware what what that means when we're talking about dead money? This means either you draft a player and you release them within 2 years when they're under a 4-year contract, or you bring in a veteran in for a 2-year or 3-year contract and you cut him before his contract is up. So we know what that means, right? That means we are cutting players, allowing these players to go to other teams while they're making a check over there. They're still getting paid from over here. We have $27 million in dead money that we have to pay folks that no longer plays on the Cowboys team. And this is an issue. But this is a sign of robbing Peter to pay Paul. Some of you guys might never have heard of that term. It's like when you got bills, you got 3 or 4 bills out there, and you say, well, I'm about to rob Peter to pay Paul. So I'm going to take money from the mortgage to pay the car note, take money from the car note to pay the mortgage. And that's what they're doing. So just think, if you didn't have $27 million in dead money, then you have another $87 million on injury reserve. $87 million on injury reserve. And which is not the player fault, but this is money that's been given to these players that are not contributing to the team, and they can't help it, but that's where they are. And Dak Prescott makes up $44 million of it. So there's a lot of dead money out there that Cowboys have to pay that's hindering the team as well. So, yeah. And it's going to continue to be an issue until they realize where the problem stems from. Now, let me get into this number 1. And you might have heard me mention this on the last video. But the number one issue with the Cowboys is Jerry Jones as general manager and Stephen Jones over scouting and director of player personnel. That's your number one problem right there. And I said this, and I continue to say this. You have businessmen making coaching decisions. You're not allowing your coaches and those that specialize in doing these particular jobs, at like a general manager or a player, individual that is good at scouting or being a director over players personnel. But again, you guys want to carry this title. And I said in the last video, we'll never ever win again. We'll never win another championship. It won't happen. As long as you got diddle dee and diddle dum with these, yeah, keep it off. That's fine. Keep it off. Yeah. That's the problem. Twiddledee and Twiddledum wants these titles because they want a whistle and they want a ball cap to coach these players. And they have no clue of what they're doing. But there's too much ego for them to admit, hey, we need to turn this over to someone that does this. And again, guys, if you're not aware, we might lose Will McClay. It's a possibility we might lose Will McClay. He has a lot to do with the scouting and the drafting of the players that we bring in here. But Will McClay might have an opportunity to go somewhere where he can be the general manager and he can recruit his own scouting coach, his own director of player personnel, and build his resume up or build his team up instead of having to report to these two. So, yeah, this is where we are. These are the 4 issues that we have, the 4 weaknesses that's keeping us from being Super Bowl contenders. But I wanted to share that with you. And you guys tell me what you think. But again, we're not at the point of celebrating and cheering and all that. It's now time to figure out what needs to be done in order to correct the mistakes we have continuously doing over the last 28, 29 years. Now, with that being said, after this season right now and what we have, let's look at this offensive side of the ball. We got Dak Prescott basically when he does come back, he's going to be one-dimensional. You will not see Dak run the ball anymore. You will not see him running the ball. So it's going to be like his feet is stuck in cement because he does not want to go through that situation again with the torn hamstring. So with that being said, when we're talking about this offense, what's going to be needed is we need pieces. We know that Dak is going to be one-dimensional. He's going to be a Tom Brady. He's going to be a Peyton Manning as far as athleticism. So that means we're going to have to create an offense that's basically going to suit him for what he can do. Get the ball out of his hand quick, create a running game, and have some great wide receivers. So with that being said, again, I say in the draft, our first round, we need to draft a skill player. No longer, okay, we're past the defensive lineman, the offensive lineman. We got to get some skill players to complement CD. And really and truly, I really think Ryan Flournoy still needs a chance. I like Ryan Flournoy. He's a big kid. Flournoy. He's a big kid. I mean, he didn't do too well in the games, but there is some upsides to him. I would like to see he's a big kid. He could play the outside along with CD. But here's our problem with our passing game. all our receivers were small. I mean, CD is really, he's a slot receiver, but he can play the outside. But then on the other side, we got Brandon Cook. He's a slot receiver playing on the outside. And then whoever's in the middle, we've been trying Jalen Tolbert, but Jalen Tolbert hadn't proved himself, which I would have had Devontae Turpin in there, but for whatever reason, that does not work for Mike McCarthy. But this year's draft, we have to go out and draft skill players. We don't have money to go really get any type big time veterans. And I'm sure Dak is going to probably restructure his contract, which that's a whole nother different story. But in order to be a Super Bowl contender, and again, we don't know if Mike McCarthy's coming back, but whatever coach he is coming back in here, he's got to look at this offense and say, man, listen, we need a first round draft pick receiver. And I know some of you guys may not agree with that, but we just got Tyler Guyton. We got what's his name? Tyler Smith in the first round. We got Terrence Steele on the other side. We got Cooper Beebe. All these are high round draft picks, high draft picks. So now, and see, we have drifted away from drafting first round skill players. The last one I think we drafted was Zeke Elliott, 2016, 2015, somewhere in there. And we know what we got out of Zeke. People can say what you want, but Zeke, and congratulations to Zeke. Give it up for Zeke. Zeke is the smartest man on this organization. He said, man, let me get out of here, because these guys ain't trying to win nothing. They can't win nothing. So what do? He could request a release. And now that he might have the opportunity to go play with a contending Super Bowl team. There's several teams out there, but one thing I don't think Jerry Jones thought about, where he possibly could end up. And this team would do it just to rub it in Dallas' face. And you know who I'm talking about. Philadelphia Eagles. That's where he could be. That's where he could end up. He could end up in Philadelphia, but I really think I see him going more to Kansas City, Detroit, or the Chargers. All these are playoff contenders. I don't blame Zeke one bit. Zeke, shout out to you. You're gonna always be my dude. People can say what they want to say about you, but in my opinion, you still my guy, man. I still got you the fat head on my wall out there in my man cave. So you my guy, man. We wishing you nothing but the best out there, brother. And prove the Dallas Cowboys wrong. And I could be wrong, but I still just think he got something to tank. But again, let me get back to this. But again, so not knowing if Mike McCarthy is going to be back or not. Now, if Mike McCarthy, I don't really want Mike McCarthy to come back at all, because I continue to tell you the training camps, his practices is trash. It's again, his practices are called GPS, navigation. So basically he practices not to get hurt. And that's why we see so many injuries, because the practices are two-hand touch. And I understand you're going to say, well, the NFL league, yeah, true that. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to have an off-season workout for these guys. Listen, it's up to you guys to do what you need to do when we come back into this off-season or into OTAs. I expect you guys to do what you need to do. Okay? So there's ways to do things, but the way Mike McCarthy does his training camp, oh my gosh, it's boring. I mean, 7-on-7, things like that. So it's like recess, if you ask me. It's like recess. But again, it depends on who comes in here. Now, the first thing that coach is going to see, let me look at this offense. And we got a bunch of receivers out there that's still unproven. Jalen Tolbert still unproven. Jalen Brooks is still unproven. Then we got Jonathan Mingo still unproven. We got Ryan Flanoy still unproven. And then you have CD. And I'm sure Brandon Cook would not be back. So that coaches have to look at that. And basically, maybe he will go ahead and keep Mike Zimmer as head coach. Who knows? If we can't find anybody, allow Mike Zimmer to take over the team. Say what you want, say what you will. But one thing about Mike Zimmer, you notice that defense we called trash once before? Now we call him a treat. Because he holds his players accountable. But anyway, those right there, guys, what I just shared with you is probably the main issues that's hindering our Cowboys. Bad investment in players, too much dead money, not signing the right coach for the job, and having your general manager, Jerry Jones, as your general manager, and Stephen Jones as your director of player personnel. That's your problem. But we're going to see what happened. Again, like I said, this is not all about me coming in here and woo. No, we're exposing. I'm going to be the Stephen A. But it is what it is, and we as fans, we're going to continue to hold their feet to the fire until they do right by the Cowboy fan. All right, y'all, do me a favor. Make sure you hit the like button below, man, and make sure, and I didn't put this up. Why did I do this? I should have did this, and I did not do it. Oh, yeah, where you can find us as well. Make sure you go to this our Facebook page and subscribe to that as well. Here's our other one right here. Boop. The Cowboys Huddle. I just showed y'all. I did not show y'all that. Let me see. Here's us on TikTok, Cowboys Huddle TikTok. There's a lot of content that I have going on TikTok as well. So make sure you take time out and go and check us out. But again, hit the like button, share this video, and leave your comments on what you guys think. If it's something else that you guys can think of that I may have missed, put it down there. And again, let's hold Jerry Jones and Stephen Jones' feet to the fire. And then again, like I say, until they do right by the Cowboys fans, we're going to continue to bring smoke.